Well, welcome back to Study on Spotlight. So today we have Haley from RGS Surrey Hills. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Right, so would you like to introduce yourself and the school to our audience?
Indeed. So I am the headmistress at RGS Surrey Hills. My name is Haley Robinson, and we are a new school. Previously, the school was Box Hill School, but we have now merged with the Reigate Grammar School group of schools, which is an excellent group of schools. 6 schools belong to it. So there are 2 senior schools. Reigate Grammar School is one of the top UK schools with 94% A star to B at A-Level. I used to work there, and when I became headmistress of RGS Surrey Hills, myself and the headmaster, Mr. Fenton, we decided that it would be better if we joined up as a team. So there are 4 prep schools or junior schools, and we are now 2 senior schools as well.
Right. So after Box Hill being merged into Reigate Grammar School, what has changed, or what have you bring into the school?
Okay, so this is only my 3rd year. So we merged last year. And why RGS Surrey Hills? Because together we're stronger. So what RGS brings is we're like brother-sister type schools. So we have the same ethos, same values. We're very distinct. We are smaller. They're much bigger. So we have 450 pupils. They have 1,200. They are a day school. We are a boarding school. But essentially, the teaching and learning practice, the way in which the RGS teachers get the best results from the children, the way in which we are trying to collaborate over sport, academics, things like medics programs, all of those types of things mean that we are very special because we're a small school, but with all of the big opportunities that a big school can offer.
Right. So you mentioned that all the activities as well as the academic offered to students. Well, so how, especially with a small school, how the school specifically tailored or adapt to the student requirements?
Okay. So what I love about my school is that I know all the pupils. So I know everybody's name. And I've found that it's more difficult, obviously, in a bigger school. What I have developed and brought in is the intervention programs, which means that as part of the timetable, students who have, I don't know, whether it's dyslexia, ADHD, whatever, we have intervention programs for everybody. But where children might have SEN, they have a very specific pathway. And we make sure that the strategies are there so that they will succeed to the best of their ability.
Right.
Equally, if we have children who are really top performers, our learning development department, yes, they have strategies for the children who might need a bit of support, but they also have strategies for the children who are super, like they need stretching. They need challenging. So everybody needs stretching and challenging. So we make sure that everybody's got their own sort of specific program. We build it into their timetable. And so the children know where they need to go next so that they can hit the best grades for them.
Yeah, that's so often because parents will ask us, how should I choose a school? Like, what should I base on? Is it only based on the academic performance and outcome? But so often I would say, well, look at the school size. Especially, you just said, as a 400 pupil in a school, it's not that big. And you know everyone in the school. And the good thing is what you just mentioned is having that flexibility to tailor each need.
Yeah.
And that is really important, especially when you're sending your children abroad to a boarding school, away from parents, and probably wanting him or her to progress, make the best out of it. And that's really good. So having that kind of flexibility and the kind of timetable to support the students. So speaking of you mentioned about SEN students.
Yeah.
So how and they have a tailor-made like a specified timetable for each student. So what kind of support exactly school support?
It really depends on the child, and it depends. We treat everybody the same. So if they have SEN or not, everybody gets their own sort of attention. But essentially, it's making sure that they can access everything that we are giving to them. So, for example, there might be some children who will take 11 GCSEs or 3 A-Levels. They might, if it's a bit too much, we might need to adjust their program. So it could be that they do maybe 8 GCSEs rather than 11 or 9 or whatever. So we try to make sure that the children have got enough flexibility to be able to study and to be able to work with the subjects and the teachers. And we're not overloading them, so it's too stressful. Equally, because we are a boarding school, it means that the children can just relax a little bit because we can help with prep during the evening. So they will get, again, sort of more specific help if they need it because they're in school with us all the time.
Yeah. So it's not the more the GCSE, the better you perform, right? So it's about finding a balance between how you can manage your studies as well as balancing, like take care of yourself.
We'd rather the children get the GCSE profile. I would rather children get straight 7s or 8s rather than, or if it's eight subjects worth, rather than doing 11 subjects and getting 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s. If their best is better than that, then let's make that happen. We just have to work with the people in the family to understand what the needs are.
Especially, I can't imagine 11 GCSE, the workload, how big would that be, right?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of work. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So speaking of like, apart from like the academic side, what kind of like activities is available to students?
So,
like, especially finding a balance.
Yeah, it's important. It's really important. And we do place a lot of emphasis on enrichment. We place emphasis on making sure the children start to understand who they are. So the enrichment sessions that we have so we do 3 hours a week. Some children will do 3 different sort of activities. So it could be Model United Nations, it could be mountain biking, horse riding, all sorts of different things. But we also have our sports program is really strong. So we've just signed a partnership deal with Chelsea Football Club. And so what that means is for children who enjoy football, they will be able to come and be trained by professional athletes and professional coaches. So whilst that's amazing and it's about being your best, sometimes sports also about making friends and building relationships and learning to lead. And so in partnership with Reigate Grammar School, we're going to use this connection with Chelsea to make sure that our children are really exploring those skills. So yes, they will be, if they're brilliant at football, we have a high performance sort of channel. If they like football and they just want to get better and better, then we've got the best coaches in the country to come and work with our children.
Right, that sounds exciting.
It's really exciting.
It was like a lot of our boys and even girls, like they're really
Very
into
much so.
football, very passionate about it,
Yeah.
and so often we'll ask, well, I want to look for a school that I can pursue my like football dream and my goal. And having that, well, you mentioned about 3 hours enrichment hours. Is that enough for like a football training, or would those students being assigned a different kind of training program?
So the children have 3 hours of enrichment. Some of that enrichment can be dedicated to football. So if they were super strong at football, then we would dedicate some time to being the more sort of high standard, high performance training. But we also have 3 hours of sport a week. And that sport the games lessons can be dedicated to the child to football, and so everybody will get access to that. And then the children who are sort of slightly more high performing will get into the sort of the other group and do more training. Equally, we have children who are really amazing at everything, and so then we have to work out how to divvy up their time so that they get the best of everything, and we make sure that we do that.
I think like families and students, well, mainly maybe parents, often will ask a question if like if my child like get into this football training, would that kind of like hijack their like study time, and then or how the school is being monitored student performance in a way?
Yeah, sure. No, that's a really good question. So the way in which we manage it is by dedicating 1 hour per day to extra study. And that could be learning to revise. It could be preparing for exams. It could be revisiting different subject material, anything like that. So every day at the end of the day, the children have that access. And it will always be supervised and monitored, so staff can get involved as well. But also, we have our dedicated prep time, especially for the boarders. So after school, they have their 2 hours or whatever it is, an evening. And that's also when we can make sure that they're topped up so that they have enough space to be able to do their studies and play the sports. We also have sport on a Saturday. So Saturday sport means that the children can, it's their weekend, it's their fun time. Let's make sure we make the most of that.
Right. So yeah, I think like that's a good thing being in boarding school, because your time during your daily schedule is kind of structured and it's happen every single day. So having a dedicated study time, it helps a lot. Actually, especially you mentioned it's supervised. So it's not like you just go to study and when you're lost, you kind of like just wander around. No, that's not what's going to happen. But it's what it is like being in a boarding school, being supervised, and there's like teachers there to support you when you don't know anything. But at the same time, you know that you have a time allocated specifically for your passion and what you love.
That's right.
So that's what like being in a UK boarding school, that kind of that the value that it brings, right?
That's right. Yeah. So we sort of act as a safety net. So because we communicate really well, it means that, let's say somebody was really strong they were playing football or playing sports or whatever it is. If their academic study starts to suffer, then we know about it really early, and then we can change things around so that the academics come back up again, because they have to leave school with their best results.
Yeah. So, you also mentioned about the boarding life part of it, because you have a study time in the boarding life. So what else like do the students like do after school? Like, so often students would think, well, if I'm being in school for like 7 to 8 hours during daytime, and then after going to boarding, it seems I don't have life, like you just mentioned, like 2 hours study time. So what else? Like,
no, I understand. No, so we've got to make it fun, and they've got to be able to have as much. They have downtime, they have independence, but equally, I'm quite old-fashioned. So sometimes they've got to be busy. So it's important that the kids will sit and, they will have their downtime, and that's good. And they need to phone home and they need to be with their friends, but they won't be on their phones. Just
we're gonna talk about
that is not happening. So, I'd much rather that they were doing something as a house. So we have house meetings, we have house activities, we change. We swap houses all the time. So the children will go for dinner at another house, and they'll eat together.
That's quite special, because like some of the boarding school do it in a dining hall, like Harry Potter style, like it's a big hall. And
so we do that, but we also make sure that it's more familial. And I will go along to those dinners, and we just spend time together, and everybody gets to know each other better. Equally, we'll do competitions. The children, the older children on a Saturday, will they have the option to go to London, and they really like shopping. So the children will often go and do shopping in London, but also we do trips every Sunday. So every Sunday, whether it's cultural, whether it's it could be sports, it could whatever it is, there's always something on a Sunday that they go to.
Wait, so if student doing sport on a Sunday and then they do that's a really busy Sunday. They do sport and then do a cultural trip.
So or either or.
Okay.
So Saturday.
Okay, I thought it was going to.
No. Yes, like whoa, no, it's not. It's not like that. No. So Sundays, sometimes the children might just want to have a quiet day. That's okay. But we make sure that there's always something that they can get involved in, and they take us up on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
But it's yeah.
No.
Yeah, because some school I know they would just jam pack Saturday into very busy. They have matches during the morning and then trips in the afternoon and then I don't know whatever's happening in the nighttime. but having that choice is a kind of having to make your own decision whether you want.
Yeah, it's important that they have the choice, but at the same time, I've got to make sure that they're not. They have to be doing something because otherwise, they could just be sitting down all day and that's not okay. Yeah.
And surprisingly, you find Saturday is quite productive. It's the day after all busy work days and all the study. Saturday, you actually can get a lot of things done, especially whatever you love or the activities when you do, but also going back to revise on your studies.
That's
and
right.
Actually, it's a very I treasure that kind of day a lot because it actually you kind of calm down from the busy week and then just focus on yourself.
Yeah, no, that's right. So Saturday mornings, if they're involved in sport, great. And then they do have a couple of hours of prep. So, and then as they get older towards their exams, then they spend more time on their Saturdays doing, like you say. But it's organised and it's productive, so it's good for them.
Yeah. But what about Saturday? Any since we haven't touched on Saturday, any special going on or free time?
So like I say, so the Saturday sport in the morning, they have their prep, and then in the afternoon, the older ones will have their opportunity to go to London or they can go shopping or whatever. The younger ones will have the opportunity to go into one of the local towns. So it's more of a sort of socializing day. And the younger ones especially, they're supervised and we take them on the bus and we all go together. But the older ones, we recognize that if you're 17 years old and it's a Saturday afternoon, you've done your homework, you've played sport, you've had a really busy week, maybe you need to go and do something for you, And so we recognize that.
Okay. So actually you touch on another topic I haven't thought about, but about a phone.
Yes.
So I just want to touch on that because most of the parents and students now know that phone is prohibited in school, during school time.
Yeah.
But considering nowadays technologies and technology is so involved in our daily life, so how does school encourage students for the usage or balance in between, and while having that kind of phone restriction, how students can maximize their study while having adapting to the current technology?
Yeah, sure.
Era
So we have to educate.
Yeah.
So the part of the reason that I prefer it when the children are supervised when they're boarding is because it's so easy for anyone, not just children. You start looking through Instagram or something and you can be scrolling for 10 minutes and you don't even realize that you've lost 10 minutes, So if we can help them to recognize that pattern, then it means that when they're on their own, then they should be better at managing it. And then as they get older, if their grades are good, then perhaps they don't need to be supervised quite so much, so they can study in their rooms or what have you. But then as soon as their grades go down, then we need to make sure that that we intervene. Okay. But it's a really good question about technology. And we run clubs like sort of or informative groups like Social Media Club, which is, what's the impact of social media and why do we use it? But also, how do we use it so that it's good for us? So we're trying to educate early with things like that, so that by the time they're old enough to be a bit more independent, they're doing things in the right way. So we try to educate as much as possible, and whether that's through our PSHE lessons or our tutor time or assemblies. Also, our older students will educate the younger students, which is great. And it means then if the older students are articulating a message to the younger ones, then they have to do it themselves. So it actually works really well.
Right. Yeah. So it's just not what we see that seems like a restriction on the very superficial
It's not
perspective.
But
it's more about the education, how to use it wisely.
Yeah.
They're having, because we can't get rid of it. There's no way, because it's about managing. Yeah.
It's a good thing. Yeah. It's the discipline that goes with it. And how do you recognize that you might have lost 20 minutes? And how do you stop yourself from doing that? So it's the simple things like putting timers on your phone and that sort of thing. Down through to like the impact of this is X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. But to be honest, by being in a boarding school, like having a very well structured timetable. So I don't think like student would be having the time.
No.
Yeah. Even if like so soon you would be find out that you're on a phone or something, because like the eyes everywhere, like teachers are watching anyway. So yeah. I
think so they do have their time where it's okay, and that's completely cool. The younger children, we take all of their devices away at nighttime. Simply because, if you're 13 or 14 years old, the temptation is too high. And again, we've got to educate you to be disciplined, So, and then with the older ones, if we recognize they're not sleeping enough, then that's when we intervene again. So we've got to practice giving children some freedom when they're older, and then taking it away if it doesn't work.
That's really important. It's about like growing into an adult, like managing yourself, having that.
Yeah.
So well, thank you today. So
thank you.
But before we wrap up, so is there any advice apart from what we just talked about? Any advice to our students and parents who are thinking to study in the UK?
I think make sure that the school is right for you. So we are a school who we will make sure that if you can get the top grades, you will get those grades. But it's important that you get the best for you. And I think it's really, the parents and families have got to talk with their agents to make sure that it is absolutely the right place. And talk to the head teachers, talk to the registrars and get to know the school before you send your children there. But I'm really grateful for the time. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Hayley. Thank you. So we will, so let's sort of wrap up. But so we'll see you in the next episode then. Thank you.
Bye.